Here's exactly how I'm reprogramming myself for success at the age of 17. And in this video, you're going to learn exactly everything from the mindsets, from the productivity involved, from the systems, from the calendar, from my routine, everything that I'm going to be doing. Now, it all starts from the identity, right? This is like a bit of the story right here. So back in December last year, right, I was working my absolute butt off. 16 hours a day, 12 to 16 hours a day, not getting the results that I wanted to, just feeling like shit about myself most of the time, and just frustrated that I wasn't actually getting the results that I wanted to, even though that I was putting in so much work. And this is like, I'm grateful for this time period. It was like a big test from like the universe. It's like a massive test on me, because if I didn't go through this, I wouldn't be where I am today. But I still made lots of mistakes. I still had this identity of someone who wanted to be successful, of someone who wanted to achieve the things he wanted to achieve, of someone who didn't want to like work all of the time. Actually like be able to live a life that he wants to, be able to enjoy himself, be able to like execute quickly and efficiently, and be able to spend most of his time learning new things. Now, anyway, right? Around this time, I started to work on mindset shifts. I remember I had mentors who were helping me out a lot with my mindset, with my identity, with all sorts of things which would help me get to the next level. And then from there, right now, here I am. Like, I've made, you know, this is just on the Stripe alone, so like 3K on Stripe, another like 1K extra PayPal, other payment processors. So that's like 4K cash collected, and then on top of that, like not even including lifetime value, about 10K cash. So 10K lifetime value online so far. Like us just after me like reprogramming myself. And I love my life now. I absolutely enjoy it. I wake up each morning. I'm so grateful. I have a great social circle around me. I'm able to do the things that I want to do, and I don't even have to work that much. That's the main thing. Like I'm not even working like as much as I probably should. Like I'm just working like maybe 4 or 5 hours a day, not more. Meanwhile, most other entrepreneurs that I know are burnt out. They're working 16 hours a day and they hate their work, right? So what's that telling you? Like they hate their work, they're burnt out. Yeah, sure, maybe they're making money, but like, are they really gonna like scale long term? Are they really gonna enjoy themselves? Are they gonna have like an actual good connection with people, or a good connection with their family? Like, of course they're not, because they're gonna spend all of their time working because they don't know how to properly execute. But anyway, and what I'm gonna teach you in this video is actually gonna get me from here, right where I am now, to the future, right? So where I want to be, right? And this is going to be absolutely crucial. Now, anyway, right? So here's exactly how I'm going to be reprogramming. Now, firstly, it comes down to mindset. So in this first photo here, this is me about 3 years ago, right? I was real skinny. I was like a video gamer, really socially unconfident. Of course, I wouldn't have a business, right? But like, do you think my mindset would have been like actually worthy of someone with success back then? No, of course not, right? You can just see it. Like you can sometimes see like someone's mindset, like just it sounds a bit shallow, but like from the way they am simply. Like you can sort of see it. Until now. Right. So I've had like a big change since then. Of course, many other factors to play. But the main biggest thing which has changed has been my own mind. What right? Without any of that, then none of this would have ever happened. I think so much things in life, and so many of like your transformation, like your own transformation or your own results or your own progress. It all comes from your own mind being able to actually believe things and then take action, and then from there be able to make that into a reality. So anyway, how do you actually change your mindset, and how did I and how am I going to be reprogramming my mindset? Now, firstly, it comes down to your alchemy of self. Now, what the heck? What is the alchemy of self? Right? What is this? Now, firstly, it's like you could say it's like a vision board of who you'd ideally want to be, of like someone, not someone you'd want to be, like the future version of yourself that you'd like to be. Who would be that person? And just creating like a vision board. So right here you can see all of these people, for example, where it's like you can take elements out of it, you can take aspects out of it, and form like, let's say, a future identity, or whoever like you would want to be in order to achieve the results that you want to achieve. So then you also want to put your story, like a manifesto about yourself, like a Wikipedia page almost, like your vision as well for yourself, like who do you want to become, like what do you want to achieve, and then affirmations for yourself. And these affirmations are based on like this future identity. And instead of you affirming to yourself that, oh, I want these things, you're affirming to yourself that you already have them. You see, this is where the law of attraction comes in. You don't, like someone who thinks, like there's so many people out there who want to get in shape. There's so many fat people who are thinking to themselves, oh, I would want a six pack. I so want like a nice chiseled six pack. Or I would want this, I want that. They are forever stuck in that state because whatever they think about is the emotional frequency that they're in. This is a bit weird to understand. You might think this is voodoo, but this is seriously true. Whatever emotional frequency you're in, that is what you attract into your life. And if you're stuck in the state of wanting something and acting like, okay, maybe I don't have it now, but I want it, then you're going to be forever in that state unless you actually change it. And how you actually get the thing that you would like, the thing that you want, is changing yourself so your emotional frequency is matched to you already having the thing. For example, if let's do the gym analogy again. You want to have that six pack. The guy who actually makes progress doesn't, like, this sounds weird as, but the guy who actually makes progress thinks to himself, the entrepreneur who makes progress thinks to himself, I already have this thing. The entrepreneur who, he's a high performer, he's able to focus incredibly well. He's not thinking, oh, I want to focus incredibly well. He's already thinking to himself, I focus incredibly well. Even if he doesn't right now, he is affirming that to himself. And as a result of that, then over time, like whatever you say to yourself enough times, eventually becomes true. So he is saying that to himself, and then guess what? It's going to make his mind believe that, and then as a result of that, your beliefs, you take action in accordance to your beliefs. So that guy would find, okay, here's how I can improve my focus, and then before he knows it, boom, he's like focusing incredibly well. So whatever you say to yourself on a long enough time frame, you believe, and then you act in accordance with those beliefs, and then that becomes reality, right? So now, right? Anyway, I think I went a bit off the hinges, but like that is essentially like your alchemy of self. And in the affirmations, you want to affirm to yourself that you've already got those things. Plus, you want to have like an emotion tied to it. So, for example, I don't know. I love being able to travel wherever I want. I love being able to spend money on what I want. I love being able to do this. I love my business. I love sales calls. I love doing this. All of this, like, affirms to yourself that you already have it, puts you in that emotional frequency, starts to make you act upon it, and then as a result of that, over time, gets you those results. So, anyway, right? We've done that, and then we want to go to like confidence and humility, right? You could say arrogance, but like, let's just say confidence, but whatever. But anyway, right? Every single successful person has such high levels of self belief and high levels of confidence in themselves. You could say it's arrogant, but they have such high levels of that makes them have so much belief in them. They have so much belief in themselves. As a result of that, they act in accordance with that, and then they make that success. So every single person who's like, you could say, who's, I don't know, 100K a month, a million a month, or like whatever, sort of in the entrepreneur's realm, right? There's success in other areas of life, but let's just say in entrepreneurship mainly, when you're doing incredibly well for yourself, you're scaling like actively, you're not having to work all the time. You can work 4 to 6 hours a day, or even 2 to 4 hours a day. Right? Like all of these people have such high levels of self-belief that they can make it, that they can do the things that they want to do, because then that makes them act. It's far better to have this mindset compared to like the overly humble view of yourself, where you think to yourself, oh, people are better than me, I'm not doing that well. I'm like, guess what's going to happen? Like what I said before, whatever you say to yourself enough times eventually becomes true on a long enough time frame. Right? So if you're saying that to yourself, then what's the point? Because you're just putting yourself down, and then as a result of that, that's what's going to happen in your reality, and your life's going to be worse as a result of that. If you think of things as negative, then that's what's going to happen. The reality's going to be negative. It's not the other way around. But anyway, every single person, like, and that's like what I've been instilling into myself recently, is just thinking, I'm the best. Like, who else is as good of a performance coach? No one else is. Like, I'm killing it. Like, no one else my age is doing this. And that gives me like such high levels of self-belief that I ruthlessly take action. I am so much more high performing as a result of that. I can get work done faster because I think this to myself. I'm not procrastinating as much as I used to, right? But anyway, and then we get into humility. So, you don't want to like forget the student mindset, right? Like, yeah, you can have all this self-belief, but if you're not willing to actively learn from other people, then what's the point? Right? You want to have that humility where you're learning and then have that like confidence where you ruthlessly execute and you take action straight away. Now, anyway, right, this the student mindset. Let's get into this. So yeah, you're a lifelong learner. You're always loving to learn things. You can always learn things from all situations. Like today in was it PE for example? This is such a goofy analogy, but like, oh, I think we're doing like pickleball or something, and I was learning. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can like do this with the racket to like hit the ball, this direction. I can do this. I can like a better example of my business was recently learning. Okay, maybe you don't even need sales calls. Maybe I could just sell like a course. Maybe I could do this, or maybe I could do that. Just constantly learning and learning from other people. So having the student mindset is vital in your life, and being able to further learn and further improve yourself, and then having that confidence to just absolutely ruthlessly execute and dominate. Now, anyway, now we've covered that. Then we want to go into the winner's mindset. When you win, right? Like, actually, let me give an example. Let's compare two people and put them in a boxing match. Let's say that's the same person. They've got the exact same statistics. One of them wins. One of them loses. Guess what's going to happen if they're put into another boxing match after that? Same people, same stats. The guy who won is going to win again, and the guy who failed is more likely to fail again, right? And when you win, you have so much more momentum to win more and more and more and more, right? And however, though, the thing is, a lot of your wins in your mind it can actually be your perception. You could perceive something as a win, whilst someone else could perceive it as like a negative or a loss, right? You can see the good out of situations while people can see the bad out of it, right? So it all comes down to your perception. However, you can use it in your favor because you can stack your wins. You can treat so many things as just a win to help you build more momentum. For example, for me recently, I had this like big win where I realized, man, I started to slack. Like I didn't record a piece of content in ages. And that's a massive win for me because I actually realized that so many people will fall off and then take months more to get out of that cycle. It took me like 3-4 weeks to get out of that cycle. For some people, it's even longer. So that in itself is a win. I could have gone negative about that and thought to myself, man, like, what am I doing? This sucks. Like, why am I like procrastinating? When I'm thinking, you know what? The fact that I've realized this is a massive win. And now here I am recording. I've ended that procrastination. The business is going well. Going to be closing a lot of high ticket deals. Now, anyway, right? So, the winner's mindset. So, here's how you actually like reprogram your mind so you constantly win. Yeah, sure, maybe there's going to be some failures, but it actually only counts if you treat it as a failure, right? At the end of the day, you win or learn, right? There's no such thing as failure if you really think about it. You're always learning things out of situations. So even if I failed some game or even if I failed this business miserably, like I can learn, dude, I've learned how to sell. I've learned how to market. I've learned how to text people. I've learned how to do this, do that, do that, do that. I have the skill where I can never go broke again. As a result of that, I can never like lose all my money again because I know how to sell. But anyway, right? So let's actually get into like win stacking. So I want you to like create a full stack of wins in your own Google Notes. No, not Google Notes. Apple Notes. So you create every single win that you have. Just like think of as many as you can from this year. So for example, I've got like a lot. I have a massive list because this like I did this at the start of the year and I quickly, stacked up a couple of wins, and then over time it just got bigger, 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 bigger. And now every single day it's like there's always wins. There's always things which are positive. So many people go through their lives and their lives just negative. It's horrible. Because I treat everything as that way. Remember, it's all based on your perception. The fact that you're alive is a win. So many people aren't alive. You've got your arms, you've got your legs, you've got like your feet, you've got your eyes. Like think about it. We can see the whole world with our eyes, and that's a win. Like some people are blind. They can't see the beauty of the world around us. They can't see people. They would kill to have that. So the fact that you've got simple things like that is a win in itself. You are more blessed than you think. And then that just puts you into like a naturally positive state. And then when you start the day, just think, I've gotten out of bed. Like some people are still in bed right now. I'm still doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And that like creates so much more momentum and confidence in yourself. So yeah, the winner's mindset is powerful as, oh my god, 15 minutes in, we're only on mindset. Anyway, and then gratitude. So this sort of ties into the winner's mindset a bit, right? And you just want to take the smaller, like, we often take the smaller things for granted, man. Like, we often take for granted the fact that we're alive, we've got, like, I've got a MacBook, I've got, like, an iPhone, you probably do too, if you're watching this. You've got your parents, be grateful for them. They, like, literally raised you and contributed so much to you. I'm incredibly grateful for my parents. Forever grateful, right? So many people that aren't even grateful for their parents. Like, come on, like, they have done so much for you. But anyway, like, you just need to be grateful for as much as you can, right? And another bonus tip as well, you can just ask people, like, what they're grateful for. It's like something which I like to do occasionally. It's nice. Gets you in a positive state. Anyways, so, and then there's abundance mentality. So, you want to act like, or you always want to think, you want to think to yourself that there's always more out there no matter what you do, unless you're going to run out, or like, unless you act like it's going to run out. Right, I remember back in December last year, I used to have the scarcity mentality, where I used to think to myself, oh, if I lose this person, or if I lose this friend, I can never gain them back, I can never gain another friend again. Like, I used to think like that, it was crazy, right? Or a girl, for example, if a girl stopped texting me back, oh no, I've lost her forever, now I can't, like, or like, oh, I gotta, like, keep this going, I gotta keep this going. And now it's just, like, abundance, it's just, what's a better example? Oh, I went out to dinner with friends back in December last year, and I remember, like, I spent all the money in my bank account. I think I had like $17, bought something for $17, so I had like 1 cent left. Because I acted in scarcity, like, that just made everything horrible. Because I was thinking to myself, like, man, I'm not gonna make this back. I'm gonna be stuck broke. I can't buy the things that I want to buy. And people are making fun of me. And then guess what? Like, a couple weeks later, I make, like, a big sale, because then I started to act in abundance. Now, when you have abundance mentality, you can think to yourself, okay, I could spend all the money in my bank account today and then gain it all back tomorrow, or gain it all back when I want to, right? Like, I recently, I'll be honest, like, I got pretty satisfied in my business and was procrastinating a lot, and I started spending, like, a lot more money, and then I just said, like, not a lot left. However, I knew to myself, okay, I could spend all of this and I can still gain it back. I know how to sell. I know how to market. I know how to, like, actually sell a product. I know how to sell high ticket. I've got so many people in my connections. Like, this is what happens when you think in abundance. You know to yourself that there's always more out there, and that there's always enough for everyone. There's always more than enough out there. There are people who are billionaires, right? And then you're complaining. Like, there's people who are probably making, like, thousands every second. And then you're complaining, oh, I can't make, 5, 10, 15, 20K a month. Like, come on, man. It's, you need to just think to yourself that there's always more out there of everything. There's always more friends to be made. There's always more girls. There's always more money. Like, there's always more things, no matter what. And if you treat it like it's a thing that's, like, I don't know, a commodity or something that's going to run out, then guess what? That's what's going to happen. So you just need to think to yourself, okay, everything's going to be okay. Even if I lose all that money, if I lose that money, it's going to come back, right? Just remember, money comes back, but time doesn't. And that's powerful to think about. Because I've, like, in the past, I used to, like, want a lot of things, but I didn't actually, like, go for it or buy it or whatever. And then, I ended up, like, regretting it and just losing that time. And now it's like, I want to be able to make the most out of my time here on Earth. We're all gonna die someday, so you just gotta make the most out of that. Anyway, and then the final mindset bit is you want to do this. This is quite interesting, but I've started to pick this up myself. Is you want to visualize those affirmations and like have it, like, on an audio tape, right? So you've got those affirmations to yourself, where you're saying, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that, acting in accordance with your future self, and then you want to ideally, like, do it kind of before bed, if you can, like, maybe an hour or so. But essentially, it starts to program, like, new beliefs in your own subconscious brain, rather than your conscious brain, but into your, like, subconscious. So it starts to think in your subconscious of these thoughts, which makes you act in accordance with it, right? And you want to visualize the affirmation happening too. So let's say if there's a visualization, oh, I'm a millionaire, or, oh, I've achieved this, I'm really great at focus, for example, and then you visualize that, I love it. You visualize that, and then that creates more of that mental picture in your brain, and that creates more of that belief that it's already happening. It creates like a visual experience for your brain that therefore starts to form beliefs, and then you start to act in accordance with that. And it's incredibly powerful. So I think that's the mindset section done. Now we're gonna move into the productivity side of things. How I'm gonna dominate in terms of productivity. Okay. Anyway, so I used to be a really unproductive person myself. It, I've already shared my story, like 14, 16-hour work days back in December. And I had such like poor work inefficiency. I would go from like one task to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. Like I would like literally all I'd achieve all day would be maybe work on content for a bit, do some like comments and looms on school.com, and then like follow up with some people, take like a bunch of calls which wouldn't even work out anyway. They were just like networking calls after time, and just like waste time on social media. And then that would take me like 12 to 16 hours. It's crazy to think like how much more I can achieve now compared to back then. But anyways, that's not the point. So the point is now I'm able to do far more in like 4 or 5 hours, even like 2 to 3 hours compared to 16 hours back then. And I just don't get like why so many entrepreneurs they insist I need to work 12-hour days, I need to work 14, 16-hour days, when like they can get that work done in 4 hours. And this is what I'm going to teach you in this section here. So firstly, productivity. So essentialism, right? This is one of the first main ones, and one of the hardest pills to swallow for me. I used to do all sorts of other tasks inside of my own business. Like I used to do comments on school.com or looms. I used to do like replying to people's comments. I used to try like follow up with dozens of people who would not even reply back. I would make content on platforms which wouldn't work. I would do I'll do cold DMs, all sorts of unnecessary stuff, like cold calls. And that just like hindered my progress. There's probably a bunch of tasks in your business right now which you are doing, but aren't even giving you a good return on investment. And so what you want to do is you need to realize to yourself, you know what, dude? Like, I have better tasks to do. There's tasks which give me a higher return on investment. Like, for example, me creating this YouTube video that was 30-minute long, extensive, in-depth, highly valuable performance video is this is the highest return on investment task I can do in my business. By far. And then also working on my product. Other than that, that's mainly about it, except for maybe like a bit of warm outreach, following up with some people and taking calls, and that's about it. But anyway, right? So essentialism, you need to just identify to yourself what is like the highest ROI task I can do in my business. What is the highest return on investment task? So for me, it's content. For you, it might be taking calls, or you might be a sales rep, so you might have to take cold calls or sales calls or whatever. Or for some other business owner, it might be something else. Whatever it is for you, focus on that mainly. Now, anyway, the concept of brain points, actually, sorry. And then if you've got lower leverage tasks, you want to move them to later on in the day. And you want to try and remove as much of them as possible. So for me, I've stopped doing cold DMs completely. I've stopped doing like most follow-ups, I'm going to like outsource it all to a appointment setter or a VA. And if you want, just like DM me at Taylor Overton Biz if you want to talk about that. And then on top of that, yeah, just like removing unnecessary tasks. So yeah. And then anyway, brain points. Right? This is a highly important concept, and you want to be able to get most of your work done, or highest leverage work done, first thing in the day. First thing as soon as you wake up. Now, of course, yeah, you can have a bit of a morning routine. You can have your black coffee, or but you want to ideally do as much as you can on your work, on your business, like the highest return on investment tasks earlier in the day. And the reason for this is because you have something called brain points. You have brain points in your brain, which is essentially, it's like a currency for your brain. So for example, me recording this video right now will require like 20, 30, 40 of my brain points. Me checking my phone is like 2, right? So like smaller tasks take less. Bigger tasks take far more. But think of it like this analogy. So we've got the we've got the lion who hunts for rabbits, and then the lion who hunts for deer, for example. So the lion who hunts like the rabbits are like small little animals, right? And then let's say the lion goes over, kills one, eats it. A couple of hours later, he's hungry again, kills one, eats it. If he keeps doing this over and over, he's actually eventually going to die out because he's using all of his like energy on just killing the smaller animals, and then as a result of that, he's like got nothing left. Right? He can't kill the deer. He doesn't have the energy to. He doesn't have enough food for his family or tribe. Compared to the lion who like kills, this is such a funny analogy, but compared to the lion who kills like the deer, the main hardest task, right? It's like a big battle, he has to like go rip its guts out, whatever. And then it takes like, let's say 50 of his energy, for example. Then he can like, there's so much deer, there's so much of it, he can like eat a good amount of it. He's full and satisfied for the entire day, maybe even the next day as well, and he can bring it back to his tribe where they can all eat and they have leftovers. So, it's the same thing in business. So, for example, if you wake up and like you check your messages, you check your notifications, you reply to some comments, like you are wasting your brain points. Your small, like it might be a small thing, but that compounds up over the course of the day. You use all of that, or let's say you wake up, you do that, you've lost some brain points, and then you go, I don't know, you go make breakfast, you go have a coffee, you go do this, you go take a shit, whatever. That all requires brain points as well. Compared to if you decided to wake up and you just did the hardest task straight away. So let's say you woke up, maybe of course you brush your teeth, you have a shower, so let's say you're recording content, for example, and then you get straight to that, which is the highest leverage task you could do in your business. That is like the hardest task, and then the rest of the day is awesome. Like maybe you have to do a bit of smaller tasks, and you just chill for the most part. You're enjoying yourself. That is far better than you trying to, let's say, kill the rabbit. Kill like multiple rabbits, for example, and then you end up dying out. Imagine if a business like all they did was replying to comments on YouTube and following up with people, like they would eventually die out because they're not focusing on the highest ROI activity. And then compared to, let's say, even for me, if I did purely content and like literally no outreach, no nothing else, but I just recorded YouTube videos, maybe did like a bit of messaging with people and like a bit of client work, I would like, my business would still be growing. I'd probably be growing even more, to be honest. But most people don't realize it. So anyway, right, far out. What was I doing? Yeah. So anyway, brain points. So yeah, just focus like purely on doing the hardest task as soon as you like wake up. Ideally, you can do a bit of a routine beforehand. I would not check my phone. I would not do anything unnecessary. I would not get into any fights or arguments or just anything which saps you away. Just wake up and get straight to it if you can, right? But anyway, now we cover like I think okay, I've already covered this. Now we're covering like actual efficiency. So like how do you actually get the work done faster? So firstly, you want to be able to plan like a to-do list of everything in the night before. I remember when I started to do this myself, it was incredibly powerful, right? I got to wake up and I got to realize, okay, this is what I need to do. I don't have to use any brain points on trying to remember, okay, what task do I need to do in the business? What exact needle moving thing do I need to do? I already know what to do. So it doesn't sap any of my brain away because I already know what to do. There's no decision fatigue whatsoever. And then from there, it needs to be in the highest priority to the lowest priority. So the highest ROI to the lowest ROI. Then after that, you want to wake up, you want to get straight to it as soon as you can. Yeah, maybe sure you can have like a black coffee or something, or have a cold shower. But try get to it as soon as possible, at least within 10 to 15 minutes or 30 minutes max. Like no delaying it, no doing like these 2 hour, 3 hour long morning routines. Try get to it as soon as you can. Of course, for some people, there's going to be school, there's going to be university. For some people watching this, but if I was you, I would just wake up earlier and then just go to sleep earlier, and then from there I'll just like wake up, get straight to it, then do the routine. Simple as that. And then anyway, you want to be able to utilize Google Calendar, right? Google Calendar is highly important for your productivity, for your blocks, your work schedules, for all of that. And ever since I've been using it myself, I know, okay, I need to do this social event at this time. I know, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. It's so important to do. And it gives me so much more mental clarity inside like my own business, inside my own life. because I just know what I need to do. Like, I'm not wasting time. I'm just like, okay, what am I doing? Like, I already know what to do, and I've planned it out from the night before. But anyway, and then you don't want to work for more than 4 to 6 hours a day. Just please, like, trust me when I say this. So many, like, creative geniuses in history, like, they all worked for, like, maybe 3 to 5 hours a day, or even less than that. So many of these people didn't even work that much. And it's because they spent most of their time refining themselves, refining like who they are as people. Of course, there's going to be some people who will be the exception, but you like the point. You've watched 30 minutes till now. You're not going to be someone who wants to like work excessively after watching. But anyway, right? You don't want to work for more than 4 to 6 hours a day unless you've got like a massive project on. The rest of your time, spend it on either like building up your skills, so learning how to sell more effectively, or learning how to market more effectively, learning at like how to boost your mindset more. And for this, I would recommend picking maybe 1 to 4 people who you trust to learn from, and then other than that, like just try not to. You don't want to be the guy like learns from tons and tons and tons of people, because then you just have constant decision fatigue. Oh, should I do this because this guy said this? Oh, should I do this because this guy said this? Like, you just want to focus on one, and then you take action and you get the result faster. Ah. And now we're on to actually how do you configure your Google Calendar, right? And so a lot of your problems come from like your lack of schedule. You don't know how to schedule yourself. You have chaos. You're tired. You have low sales as a result. You work more. You still fail, and then you have a lack of schedule, right? And so here's like the actual proper CEO calendar configuration. This is what I'm going to start doing. So yeah, I've already got all of this dialed in, and my mindset started to really dial in recently. But here's what I'm going to be doing to like actually properly like reprogram like my routine. So anyway, right? So what you can do yourself is just set your time frame to weekly there, and then you want to be able to have the essentials on the calendar. So for me personally, I never used to use Google Calendar until making this video. I actually didn't really use Google Calendar that much, or like learn how to use it that effectively. But you want to have something which you can follow every single week for the rest of your life, right? And my calendar at the moment, I absolutely love it. I adore it. I'm able to follow it every single day, pretty much, or at least like every single week, you know. But anyway, you want to have the essentials on there. So of course you want to have your sleep. That's highly important. Check out a lot of my other, like most of my other videos are about that anyway. So just check it out to dial that in. Then you want to have your work and school. You want to have your gym, eating, and then just normal basic routines or whatever. So anyway, you want to have all of those essentials on the calendar, and you want to mark to yourself like, are there any specific things you need to do in that time frame? Are there any like specific duties you need to do? And then from there, you can learn how to do deep work blocks. And this is a big game changer for me. I struggled with deep work for ages, and this is going to help me get like I'm currently working 4 to 6 hours a day. I'm going to be able to work for 2 to 4 hours a day after this and make significant gains in my business. Now, anyway, how do you actually utilize Google Calendar for deep work blocks, right? So ideally, you want to have the maker time management. And let me explain. So there's the maker, and then there's the manager. So the maker time management, here's someone who creates, here's someone who produces. He needs like good chunks of uninterrupted time to actually work and to produce his best work. The guy who's a manager, he's got all sorts of little tasks. Now, you might be a manager, so, you know, if you are a manager personality type, like in terms of your business, you can always just like skip to down here. But anyway, if you're a maker like me, you want to have your calendar. Actually, I'm just going to go into my calendar right now. So this is my calendar currently. You want to try and batch as many of your things as possible. So for example, for me, like, I'll be honest, I was supposed to do this. I procrastinated this, so I'm getting this done now. But anyway, you can see tomorrow morning, I've got all of this batched. So I've got this call here, call here, call here, all batched. Then I've got school here, I've got gym here, and then I've got all of this. So I don't have like constant like tasks throughout the day that I need to do, or if I have like a dead space of 30 minutes, like I'm gonna be thinking, oh, I need to get to this call on this time, and then it just makes me procrastinate, makes me like just waste time, and then I don't actually end up getting to it. And then, for example, at school, like imagine at school if you decide to have like a class and then rest and then class and then class rest, like you have like your class, and then maybe okay, you do have like a rest and then class, rest, and then class, right? But you don't have like constant, interruptions. You have like a fairly solid routine, and then every single morning as well, like I have the work at the same time, I have the calls at the same time each night. I've been dialing like all of this in, so yeah. it's incredibly useful to you once you know how to like batch. And what I'm going to start doing is batching content as well. So batching videos like this, where I can like record, good half-hour long videos in length like this, and be able to just lock in on that. It's going to be incredibly crucial. And yeah, just have big English uninterrupted blocks of time for calls, sales calls, client calls, outreach, etc. And so for me, I take all my calls at like from 7 to 8:30 p.m. most of the time. If I've got calls at that time, I'll just like get everyone to let's say I have a guy booked from 7:20 to 7:40, and then a guy booked from 8 to 8:20. I'll see if I can get the guy to like move that to there, or the other guy to move that ahead, so I get to do them at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but like back to back, and that creates so much more productivity inside of me, and just makes me have so much more momentum compared to if I have like a call here, then this work, and then another call here, and then like random shit. Like I just batch it all at once, you know. Now, anyway, here's how I'm going to be able to operate like a high performer truly. Now, I'm going to be treating my Google Calendar as like law, so just truly treating it as something which I need to just respect and follow as much as I can. Of course, life is going to happen, things are going to happen, but keep to your promises as much as you can, which builds up more confidence in the long run. Then you want to plan your Google Calendar for the day and any extra things the night before. And you want to check your Google Calendar often to remind yourself, okay, I need to do this thing at this time. I need to do this thing at this time. And then that helps you work and get back on track. So this is incredibly crucial for your success and for just all of this in general. And that's exactly how I'm going to be reprogramming myself for success at the age of 17. This is the entire blueprint. You can steal this. You can copy this yourself. You don't have to be 17. Dude, you can be like 20, 30, like into entrepreneurship doing this, right? So I hope this video gave you some value. To be like 37 minutes in, right? I hope this gave you a good amount of value. I know that you as an entrepreneur, you're wanting more help. You need more help in terms of like actually becoming a high performer, executing in less time. So if you would like to, book a call with me in the description. There's a first link there where I will give you the exact roadmap you need to become a true high performer in business and just absolutely crush it, crush your competition, scale, and have like a killer mindset, have an awesome life. And if you're a bit too much of like, if you don't want to, if you like feel a bit scared, I do have a free community in the description as well. We can ask questions. There's other entrepreneurs in there, there's millionaires in there, there's all sorts of great connections you can make in that community. So the link to that is down in the description. So go join right now. It's the best performance community out of anyone else. And thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next video. Whoop out! Oh, my voice is dead.